Lesson 16, Snapback. In this lesson, we will continue learning basic capturing methods. Today, we are going to talk about the snapback. In our previous lessons, we learned about the tiger's mouth. We emphasized that you shouldn't play inside a tiger's mouth because playing there means you'll be captured immediately. But the snapback is a very special shape. It actually requires you to play right inside the opponent's tiger's mouth. By letting your opponent capture your stone first, you can then capture them right back. In our last lesson about connect and die, we mentioned using a throw-in to take away liberties or to reduce the opponent's liberties. The snapback also uses a throw-in to reduce liberties and capture the opponent. Okay, let's look at a classic snapback shape. First, let's set up a shape like this in the center. Let's set up a tiger's mouth shape. Okay, let's start with this shape. This spot is a standard tiger's mouth. If black plays here now, white can capture black immediately. Obviously, this move is a loss for black. It is a bad move. Now, let me modify this shape a bit. Please note that in these two spots, I've added two more black stones. Now the shape is completely different. It is now a standard snapback shape. Let's look at black. Black still plays a throw-in into white's tiger's mouth. Note that a throw-in usually means sacrificing a stone to the opponent. We usually play a throw in right into the opponent's tiger's mouth. Playing into the tiger's mouth, letting them capture it. Letting them take the stone is called a throw-in in WeiQi. We've learned about the tiger's mouth before and using a throw-in to take away liberties. Now let's look at the snapback, which combines the features of both shapes. After black plays a throw-in here, if white wants to escape, there is no way back. White can only capture this stone. But after capturing this stone, we will surprisingly find that this shape is tightly put into Atari by black. So black can immediately capture white. We mentioned this in our first and second lessons on liberties and capturing, right? After black places the stone, black has the priority to capture the opponent. We first check white's liberties, then check black's liberties. So black is able to capture here, and white is captured. Okay, let's take another look at this shape. It is a very interesting shape. You use a throw-in to send your stone into the tiger's mouth, letting them capture it. Once they capture it, you can capture them right back. But if we are too timid here and just play a normal Atari, the opponent can just connect. Okay, this is the standard snapback shape. We placed it in the center like this, but we can also have this shape in the corner. Okay, let's see how black in the corner can capture these two white stones. We still use the throw-in technique and play it here. When white captures, black can capture white right back. So, what is special about this shape in the corner? You must pay attention to where you play the throw in. Notice that the center shape only has one throw-in point, because playing here is an Atari, and white will connect. So it is very easy to tell that you should throw in here. But in the corner shape, there are two throw-in spots. Actually, both of these spots are tiger's mouths, because if you play there, white will capture you immediately. However, to form a snapback, you can only throw in at this spot. Throwing in at this spot is wrong. After white captures it, white will be fully connected. So how do we distinguish where to play the throw in? Here we can use a concept. This spot can actually be understood as something similar to a cutting point. Because if white connects here, they are completely connected. But if black throws in here, it creates a cutting point for white. So we should try to consider throwing in where it creates a cut for the opponent. Then this throw in is usually correct. Okay, the snapback can be simply understood as throwing in into the opponent's tiger's mouth. Or we can say, we can play to recreate a snapback shape. For example, let's look at the shape we just set up. I'll remove this black stone. Let's look at this shape. If we follow normal logic, you worry this stone will be captured, so you connect here. Then white connects and white escapes, right? But if I have mastered the snapback shape, I can choose to Atari right here. This recreates the snapback shape from earlier. Next, if white captures, black can capture white right back. So snapback usually refers to throwing in at the opponent's tiger's mouth. But if we master the snapback shape, we can recreate the snapback shape ourselves. For example, playing Atari here. This perfectly recreates the snapback shape. As long as we understand the benefits of this shape. For example, in a game like this, we learned about the ladder before. Let's place a white stone here. Right? The effect is exactly the same. Now if black connects here, black cannot capture it because the ladder is favorable for white. But if we know the snapback shape, we will know that playing Atari here can capture white. Okay, we have clearly explained the basic snapback shape. Let's look at the special shape. Let's pay attention to this shape. This shape can be quite deceptive. Why? Because if our goal is to capture this stone, then it has actually formed a connect and die. This is what we learned in the last lesson. So black might easily think, I can just capture this stone here and be very happy about it. But if we look at white's shape as a whole, as a complete entity, we'll find that black throwing in here captures much more. If white captures now, then it becomes a standard snapback shape. Throwing in here makes a standard snapback shape. Now black can capture all of white stones. Okay, this shape is rare, but it does exist. For example, similar shapes, we can set up another one. Okay, for example, a shape like this. We can make the outside all white stones. It doesn't matter. Similarly, we see that black has put this white stone in a connect and die. If black simply captures it, black only gets this one stone, right? But black can throw in here, and this whole group actually forms a snapback. If white captures, black can capture white right back. So for the snapback shape, we should grasp its key point. That is when the opponent is very short of liberties, when we throw in at their tiger's mouth and let them capture our stone, we can capture them back. That is the opponent's shape. Okay, now let's look at a rather interesting snapback shape. We set up a shape like this in the last lesson. Okay, we said this shape was a connect and die. Next, black throws in here to reduce white's liberties. If white captures, black plays Atari. This forms a connect and die. But if white directly connects here, then black plays Atari at this spot, and it becomes a standard snapback. So what makes this shape interesting? Please pay attention to black. If black accidentally plays at this spot, it is actually still a snapback. Next, white captures and black throws in again. We call this a double throw in. Black can still capture white. Shapes utilizing a double throw in are quite common. For example, a shape like this in the corner. When we fight a KO, for example, if black plays here or throws in, is it actually a KO threat? The concept of a KO threat, we've discussed it before. It means if white ignores it, there will be a price to pay. So if white resolves the KO now, black can play here. We see black can use this technique. I throw in here, white captures, and I throw in again. This is a standard double throw in, which can capture white. Similar shapes can appear in the center or on the side. For example, let's set up a shape like this. As long as we grasp the feature of this shortage of liberties shape, for example, whether it is here or here, it is fine, right? For example, here, if it is black's turn, I play the first throw in. White must capture, then I throw in again. The second double throw in can also form a snapback shape. Okay. As for the snapback shape, we have completely finished learning the basic shapes, and we've mastered it. Frankly speaking, it is not very complicated. As long as we observe and think more, we will find many similar snapback shapes. Now, let's talk about a practical application of the snapback shape. When we are playing a game, Many shapes can be resolved using a snapback. Let's set up a shape first. For example, black has a shape like this in the corner. Okay, white has surrounded black. Oh, it is a shape like this. Please pay attention to this shape. On the surface, white, playing Atari on this stone, seems to form a connect and die, right? Because if black connects, white can capture all of black stones. So from the surface, this stone is captured by white. If this stone is captured by white, it means the 3 black stones in the corner are also captured, because this shape in the corner cannot make life. This is also something we will learn later. So, when white plays Atari here on what we call a key stone, black can now use this snapback shape to save these 3 black stones. Notice that when black plays Atari here, this stone instead becomes a snapback shape. It has great practical value in real games. So these 2 stones are captured by black instead. Next, if white captures, black can capture right back. Okay, so please note, this shape is highly practical. Finally, let's teach another snapback trick. An excellent move serving multiple purposes. Let's look at this shape. It is quite interesting. Okay. Now white pushes and plays Atari on black here. Notice that under normal circumstances, the first reaction is that they are playing Atari on my stone, so I need to capture it. But if black plays like this, white's next move is here, and black's 3 stones in the corner are captured by white because, right, we said that after being cut by the opponent, a group without 2 eyes is dead stones. This is a topic for later. So at this moment, please note that black's move becomes a great multi-purpose move. Or a dual-purpose move. In WeiQi, we often call it a fight. This is a proverb, a Chinese proverb. This move serves 2 purposes. The first purpose, let's look at these 2 stones. When black plays here, this shape becomes a standard snapback shape. White still cannot escape with these 2 stones. They are still controlled by black. That is the first purpose. IT fixes the hidden danger of white's Atari. The second purpose is that this move connects the 3 black stones on the right, not only capturing the 2 white stones on the left, but also connecting black's 3 stones. So this move kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Therefore, if we use the snapback shape well, it can often improve stone efficiency in real games. It is usually much more efficient than simply capturing. Alright, that is all for today's lesson.